Exposed at 2 a.m. How my calm revenge transformed my husband's boss's unexpected legacy forever. Marissa Jenkins stared at her computer screen, her chest tightening as she read the revealing article. The words danced like shadows in her mind: layoffs, corporate greed, and the looming shadow of Gordon Franklin, her husband's boss. It was 2 a.m., and while the world outside was asleep, her heart raced with determination. Gordon was a man revered by many in Maplewood, but to her and Mark, he was the cause of sleepless nights. She could feel it gnawing at her, this unspeakable desire for justice. The air was heavy with the scent of summer barbecues and the echo of children laughing during weekend soccer matches. But that tranquility shattered when Mark came home with the familiar heaviness in his shoulders. Marissa thought of how hard he worked, years spent committed to a company that barely acknowledged his loyalty. She had watched him over the years, a devoted husband and father, crumble under Gordon's dismissive attitude, and it made her blood boil. As the days passed, that article lingered in her thoughts, the urgency gnawing at her soul. Like a sparrow chirping against the morning sun, she knew she couldn't stay silent. Armed with newfound resolve, she confronted Mark one evening, her eyes gleaming with newfound purpose. "We need to fight back, Mark. We can't just let him destroy lives that way." "Marissa, I don't know if it's worth it," he replied cautiously, glancing away. But deep inside, he wanted this as much as she did. The anger in her voice ignited something in him. They decided to channel their rage into something constructive, to rally their neighbors and revive the community center, the heart of Maplewood. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. The fundraiser loomed, a tapestry of hope woven from heartfelt stories and a shared commitment to their community. But as that night progressed, Marissa learned the true weight of the challenge they faced. Whispers of Gordon's troubled past emerged, stirring conversations about privilege, neglect, and ethical duty. As she stood in front of that crowd, heart pounding, she felt a power bubbling beneath the surface. They spoke of lifting each other, shining light on the cracks greed had formed. But then came an unexpected confrontation with Gordon, his eyes cold as he dismissed their efforts. Marissa's heart raced. Was it worth pushing for justice when the stakes were so high? Can forgiveness find a place amidst this chaos? As the room filled with a charged mix of emotions, she realized that every choice made could either reinforce or reshape the very fabric of their beloved Maplewood. Her heart hummed with both hope and fear, a collision of ideals. The night was far from over, and Marissa's journey was just beginning, her spirit poised to ignite a transformation that would redefine not only her family, but the entire community they loved. Marissa stood there, trembling, the room still buzzing with energy. She could feel the warmth of community, the palpable desire for change slipping around her like a comforting blanket. Yet there was an unsettling chill brought on by Gordon's scornful dismissal. It lingered in the air like a dark cloud threatening to downpour at any moment. "Did you see the way he looked at us?" she whispered to Mark, who stood beside her, his brow furrowed in concern. "I did, but don't let it shake you," he encouraged, his voice steady. "We have to keep pushing. We can't let one man derail everything we're trying to do." That sturdy resolve radiated from Mark, igniting Marissa's fire again. She glanced at the faces in the crowd, familiar friends and neighbors, all of them united by a common thread of frustration and hope. They had so much at stake, and this was their chance to reclaim a piece of their community. As they began to address their plans for the community center, Marissa's voice grew louder, fueled by growing confidence. She spoke of dreams, youth programs, cultural events, and places for families to gather, all shattered by neglect. Yet she sensed doubt weaving through the room as her words reached a crescendo. Every single one of us has been affected by what's happening in that corporation. But imagine, just imagine, if we can make a change together, she declared, glancing at familiar faces that nodded, some even smiling in encouragement. But then the door swung open. Gordon entered, trailing an ominous air with him. It was like the wind had shifted suddenly. Conversations halted, between tension and disbelief. His presence loomed larger than life, a corporate titan who thrived on superiority. Marissa's heart dropped, but she held her ground. "Still wasting your time on dreams," he sneered, arms crossed, a smirk on his face. "Community center? You think that'll change anything? You're not dealing with kids running a lemonade stand. You're up against a corporation." His words dripped with disdain, making Marissa flinch, but she forced herself to respond. "No, we're not, Gordon. We're dealing with people, real lives, and we won't be silenced," she replied, injecting fierce determination into her voice. A murmur passed through the crowd, rising like steam from a kettle. People were awakening to their own power, and Marissa could see the spark in their eyes. "Do you really think your power will last forever?" she continued, newfound fire surging through her veins. "You can try to crush us, but we're done playing by your rules. This is our home, and we will fight for it." Gordon's expression soured, but behind her, Mark clasped Marissa's shoulders, silently rooting for her. The connection between them pulsed with intensity. This confrontation would resonate beyond just them. It could awaken others. As Gordon opened his mouth to retort, Marissa felt closer to something much larger than herself. It scared her to think of what could break if this didn't go as planned. But just as she prepared herself for whatever blow would come next, a light flickered across the room. Someone in the crowd stepped forward, staring into Gordon's icy glare. "Enough!" the voice rang out, and everyone turned as Lila, an elder from their community, stood resolute. "Enough of your intimidation. We're not afraid anymore." Marissa gasped, her heart soaring. Lila's brave declaration was like a compass, guiding their anger into something monumental. Something unresolved began to rise. What would this newfound courage lead to? Would they band together against the tide of fear and greed? The answer was just beginning to unfurl as murmurs began to swell. The tide was turning, and who would stand with them? Marissa's heart raced at Lila's declaration. It felt like a thunderclap in the quiet that had encased the room, a rallying call that echoed against the walls. She could sense the shift in energy, a collective breath drawn in readiness. Mark gave her a gentle squeeze, his encouragement unwavering. "We're done hiding, Gordon," Lila continued, her voice strong yet warm. "You think your position makes you untouchable? We know what's at stake. This town is not just another project on your ledger. These are our lives you're playing with." The crowd erupted into murmurs, sparks igniting fresh embers of bravery. Lila's boldness carried weight, and many began to step forward, one by one, emboldened by her courage. A younger man named Alex, someone Marissa had mentored in school, raised a clenched fist. "We are the heartbeat of this community. You can't take that away from us." The room was vibrating now, an electric atmosphere pulsing with relief and a burgeoning sense of purpose. Marissa leaned forward, heart in sync with the rising tide of voices. She realized this was a moment she had only dreamed of, a moment where fear was cast aside and replaced by conviction. "We might not have your money or your power," Marissa added, looking directly at Gordon, "but we have each other. That's what makes us stronger." Gordon's brow furrowed, his confidence wavering as he scanned the crowd. He was losing them. His voice broke through with a dismissive tone. "Do you really think this is a game? The wheels of change move slowly. You're too naive to understand that." Marissa felt the chill of his words, but instead of quaking under the threat, she stood taller, feeling a surge of adrenaline. Maybe, but we're willing to fight for what's right in our community. How's that for naivety? With every word, she felt layers of doubt peel away. The collective resolve filled the air, and she could sense a formidable unity forming. Lila took center stage, gesturing to the assembly. This is our chance. Let's show Gordon and the corporation what we can really do. We need to gather ideas, strategies, how we can push back and move forward. As discussions broke out across the room, small groups formed, brainstorming ideas about community events, petitions, plans for bringing in local businesses. It was like a wildfire spreading, igniting conversations over cups of coffee and half-eaten pastries. Marissa watched, her heart swelling with a mix of pride and joy. But amidst all the excitement, a thought nagged at her. What if Gordon had an ace up his sleeve? He struck her as someone who wouldn't back down easily. The fear of retaliation loomed quietly in the shadows, threatening to dampen their momentum. Just then, a woman named Linda, a single mother and a voice of the youth, spoke out. We need to document everything. We can't let them erase our progress. What if we share our stories, our truth? Everyone paused to consider, the weight of Linda's suggestion hanging in the air. Stories, Marissa echoed, her mind racing. They're powerful. If everyone shares their experiences, we can build something that's too strong to tear down. Suddenly, she envisioned it. A mural of stories told not just in words, but through art, music, and performances. A celebration of their community that spoke volumes. The crowd made plans to gather materials, resources, and stories to paint this vibrant picture of their collective resilience. Lila smiled, her approval evident. Let's meet here again next week, and we'll get this started. As people trickled out of the room, Marissa's mind buzzed with ideas and doubt, each colliding with the other. Could they truly pull this off? Just as Mark reached for her hand, a shout came from the entrance. Wait! It was a stranger, a young woman with a determined expression. I have something to tell you all about what I saw at the corporation. You need to hear this. Marissa exchanged worried glances with Mark, a mix of curiosity and unease settling over them. What could this stranger reveal, and could it prove to be the tipping point they desperately needed? The crowd fell silent. All eyes turned to the young woman standing at the entrance, her breath coming in quick bursts. There was urgency in her voice, something raw and unfiltered. Marissa felt a tickle of anxiety. The atmosphere had shifted again, this time filled with anticipation, the kind that scents the air before a storm. I'm Jenna, the woman said, taking a cautious step forward. I work at the corporation. I overheard some things you need to know. She glanced behind her, as if expecting someone to follow or intervene, then continued. It's serious. They're planning to greenlight a project that could destroy our parks, displace families. It's horrendous. Marissa's heart sank. She felt a ripple of unease. Anger and fear washed through the room. What do you mean? Destroy parks? Displace families? Jenna nodded, her hands trembling slightly. I didn't want to believe it at first, but I heard them discussing it in hushed tones. It's all about profit margins. If they get rid of the green spaces, they can build more office space, more apartments, more money. They don't care about the people. The gravity of Jenna's words weighed heavily on the crowd. Marissa could feel tension rising, faces shifting from determination to panic, and she knew she had to steer them back to unity. So we can't let them do this. We need to fight back. Jenna, do you know when this is supposed to happen? I overheard them saying they want to finalize everything by the end of the month, Jenna replied, her voice steadying as she absorbed the response from the crowd. We have little time. A wave of murmurs crashed through the room. People exchanged glances filled with fear, disbelief, but beneath it, there was something else. It mingled with hope. They were ready to push back. Leela stepped forward again, her energy igniting the room. We now have a target. We're not just sharing our stories, we're mobilizing. Let's plan protests, petitions, and meetings to raise awareness. This isn't just about saving our homes, it's about saving our community. Marissa's heart surged with renewed vigor as she glanced at Mark. His usually calm demeanor was now lit with fierce determination. She felt the connection between them ignite, a shared promise that they wouldn't let their home slip away without a fight. Throughout the room, new ideas blossomed. Someone suggested flyers, another proposed involving local media, and yet another wanted to use social media to spread the word. The energy was infectious, a wildfire roaring back to life. But beneath it all, the dread loomed. Time was running out, and lurking at the back of her mind was Gordon, always a step ahead, now armed with information they didn't have. Would he try to bury their efforts? Just as they immersed themselves in plans, Jenna raised her hand again, looking around. We also need to watch our backs. I don't trust Gordon. He's ruthless. Her eyes were unwavering, filled with a life experience that rang true. Marissa nodded, feeling a chill run down her spine. We will be careful. No one can know about our plans. Not yet. We need to be smart about this. A collective resolve formed solidly among them as they worked late into the evening, laughter blending with hushed whispers of strategy. Ideas transformed into actionable steps, an unstoppable force building within the walls of that community center. As the last few stragglers began to leave, Marissa caught Jenna's eye. Thank you for coming forward. You're part of our community, and we're glad you're with us. Jenna smiled softly. I'm ready to stand with you all. Together, we can turn this around. But Marissa couldn't shake the feeling that the real battle was just beginning. She glanced at Mark, who leaned close and whispered, "We'll do this together, right?" Her heart soared at his words, yet a nagging fear settled deep. What if Gordon had measures in place to shut them down before they even started? Together, she affirmed, but with uncertainty hanging in the air, she couldn't help but wonder, would unity be enough to combat the corporate machinery that threatened to engulf their lives? As the last few chairs were pushed back and the low hum of conversations faded, Marissa couldn't shake the weight on her shoulders. The clock ticked by, a relentless reminder of the time slipping through their fingers. She glanced at the others, their faces glowing with purpose and fear. Could they really stop this? Could they unite enough voices to drown out the corporate greed? Mark hadn't let go of her hand. It felt comforting, anchoring her against the swirling doubts. But deep inside, she felt a storm brewing. I'll set up a group chat tonight, he said, pulling out his phone. We'll keep everyone updated, share ideas, get organized. Good idea. Let's make sure everyone knows we meet again on Saturday, Marissa replied, trying to match his enthusiasm. But as she spoke, her thoughts drifted back to Gordon, his smug grin, the weight of his influence. The man always seemed prepared, steps ahead of everyone else. Suddenly, Jenna reappeared, her face pale. What if we try to gather information from the inside, she suggested breathlessly. I can try to dig deeper, see what else I can find out. I still have contacts there. Marissa's heart raced at the suggestion, a mix of excitement and alarm swirling within her. It was risky. Are you sure? What if they catch you? Gordon. I know him. I've seen what he can do, Jenna interjected resolutely. But I can blend in. I'd just be another employee, observing. If we know their timeline, we can attack their plans before they even start. Marissa was torn. The risk was enormous, but the reward felt like a lifeline. Okay, if you think you can, we need that information, but you've got to be careful. I will be, Jenna promised, her determination palpable. As they wrapped up their meeting, a buzz of plans spinning around the room filled the air, but Marissa struggled to hold on to the excitement. She stayed behind, even as the others left, drawn to the window where the night sky loomed over the horizon. The streetlights flickered, casting shadows that felt menacing. Hey, Mark said, softly, approaching her. You all right? She turned to him, forcing a smile, but couldn't hide the worry in her eyes. Just thinking about what could happen. I don't know if we're prepared for Gordon's response. He stepped closer, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. His fingers lingered against her skin, igniting warmth deep within her. No matter what, Marissa, we're in this together. You've got to trust. The strength of this community. The sincerity in his voice pulled her back to reality. You're right. I just can't shake the feeling that they'll come at us hard. If we get too loud, we might wake the beast. Mark nodded, but his expression was unwavering. Let the beast come. We'll be ready. With that, they left the community center, the cool night air hitting them as they stepped out. The streets were quiet, yet ominous shadows danced around them. Marissa felt a quickened heartbeat, not just from fear, but from resolve, a new fighting spirit igniting within. As they parted ways at the corner, Marissa glanced back at the center. I hope you're right, she whispered to the night. The shadows felt closer, almost sentient, and she couldn't shake the sensation that they were being watched. The following day passed like molasses. Hours turned into an eternity as Marissa fought to distract herself from the looming threat. Her mind raced with ideas for the community effort, yet each plan felt fraught with dangers she had yet to uncover. By evening, the group chat buzzed with messages, the air vibrating with adrenaline. Just as she settled down to catch up, a chilling message popped up on her screen. We need to talk. I know what Gordon is planning. Meet me at the park tomorrow. Marissa's hands shook as she read the words. Who sent that? What did they know? And was it safe to meet? She stared at her phone, heart pounding. What were she and her friends really up against? Tomorrow would answer questions she never thought she'd have to face. But first, was it the right time to respond, or to let the darkness close in? Marissa barely slept that night. The message replayed in her mind like a broken record. Every time she closed her eyes, she could picture Gordon's smirk, taunting her confidence. Her heart ached, a mix of adrenaline and fear coursing through her veins. The park was a gathering spot, a neutral territory where secrets could be unearthed. Yet it was also a place where shadows loomed. Morning arrived too soon. With every tick of the clock, her apprehension grew. Would this mysterious person truly have insight into Gordon's plans? Was it a trap? Thoughts spiraled as she prepared to meet at the park, her mind swirling like the autumn leaves outside. So many worries danced in harmony. Taking a deep breath, she stepped outside into the brisk morning air. The world felt different under the gray sky. Something was brewing, and it wasn't just the weather. The chill penetrated her skin, but warmth swelled in her chest as she walked toward the park. Each step became a mantra in her mind. I can do this. We can change things. A group of determined individuals could tilt the scales. She believed that. As she approached the park, she spotted Jenna sitting on a bench, fiddling with her phone. Relief washed over her momentarily, knowing that at least one friend was there. But the glance of Jenna's furrowed brow brought Marissa back to earth. Hey, you made it, Marissa said, trying to keep her voice steady. Jenna nodded, biting her lip. You have no idea how nervous I am. I hope this person shows. If they know something, this could change everything. Or it could just be another dead end, Marissa shrugged, not trusting her own optimism. Her mind churned with all the possible scenarios. Just then, a figure emerged from behind a tree. Tall, clad in a worn-out jacket, a baseball cap pulled low. Marissa's stomach churned. She squinted, trying to recognize them. Her heart thumped loudly as they came closer, stepping into view. Luca? Marissa and Jenna gasped in unison. Hey, thanks for coming. Luca's eyes darted around nervously, watching as joggers passed by. His usual confident demeanor seemed shaken today. What do you know? Marissa urged, stepping toward him. He took a deep breath, leaning closer as if to share a secret. Gordon isn't just looking to shove you guys out. He's got a plan to make sure you don't even get a chance to fight back. There's a big merger coming up, and he's in charge of it. Jenna's eyes widened. What kind of merger? Gordon is fronting an eco-friendly initiative, but it's a cover. His real goal? Dismantling the community projects you care about, starting with this very park. Luca's voice trembled, trembling like a leaf caught in the wind. Marissa felt her chest tighten. But why? Money. Influence. He paused, staring intensely into her eyes. If this merger goes through, huge investors will step in, and it'll push out smaller entities, like the local groups trying to make change. He's all about consolidating power. The weight of his words settled over them like a dark cloud. Marissa felt her heartbeat echo in her ears. This wasn't just a community fight anymore. It was war. "What do we do?" Jenna whispered, fear gripping her throat. Luca straightened, determination sparking in his gaze. "We need proof, evidence that shows his true intentions. I have ideas, but we'll need everyone on board." "More risky moves," Marissa sighed, glancing at Jenna. "Are we really ready for this?" "More than ever," Jenna said firmly. "Together, we can't let him win." With their hearts pounding in unity, they began plotting their next steps. But just as they spoke, a figure loomed at a distance, lurking behind a tree. Marissa froze. Did they already know they were there? The shadows had returned, lurking nearer as she felt eyes on her. "Who's watching us?" she whispered, dread curling around her gut. She couldn't shake the feeling that they were in deeper than they ever intended. Tomorrow would bring a reckoning, and they had no idea just how high the stakes would rise. Would they be ready to face the true danger that lay ahead? Marissa felt the chill of unease creeping up her spine as she scanned the area, her breath quickening. The figure behind the tree remained still, hidden, but undeniably present. She exchanged worried glances with Luca and Jenna, who were just as tense. "Let's move to a safer spot," Luca suggested, leading them toward a cluster of trees where the shadows thickened. They crept silently, hearts pounding like a drum in their chests, praying the lurking figure hadn't noticed them. As they settled into the embrace of more foliage, Marissa's mind raced. Who could it be? Was it someone from Gordon's side? Why were they watching? "Okay," Luca whispered. "What's our plan? We really need that evidence. If we can film him making these shady deals." "Filming him won't be easy," Jenna interrupted as she nervously scratched her arms, a telltale sign of her anxiety. "He won't just have meetings in plain view." The atmosphere felt electric, as if someone had charged the air with anticipation. "We can't just confront him either," Marissa added, pulling her jacket tighter around her. "He's dangerous." "But we can't sit back and do nothing either," Luca clenched his fists. "We need a strategy. We're running out of time." Just as Marissa opened her mouth to respond, a loud rustling interrupted them. The figure emerged from the shadows, hands raised defensively. Marissa's heart sank. The last thing she expected was more surprises. "Listen, I'm not here to hurt you," came the voice, a familiar tone laced with urgency. "It's me, Ryan." "Oh, thank God," Marissa rushed forward, relief flooding her. Ryan was a mutual friend, someone who had always been supportive of their cause. "What are you doing here?" "I've been following Gordon," he explained, glancing anxiously around as if expecting the unexpected at any moment. "I overheard something that you need to know. I didn't want to let you down without proof." "What kind of proof?" Jenna asked, her voice trembling with hope. Ryan pulled out his phone, scrolling through the files. "I recorded a conversation between Gordon and some corporate people. They mentioned your community projects, something about disbanding those nuisances as a part of the merger. I've got it all on camera." Marissa felt a tidal wave of emotions crash over her. Fear, anticipation, urgency. This could be their lifeline. "Can we watch it here?" she whispered, her voice barely above a whisper. Ryan nodded, and they crowded around his phone, hearts racing as he tapped to play. The muffled voices filled the air. "Those community events are a waste of resources. With the merger, we can control the narrative. They won't even see it coming," Gordon's voice sneered, the unmistakable arrogance dripping from each word. Marissa felt a surge of anger. He thought he could toss them aside like yesterday's news? The dream of their community didn't stand a chance with him lurking in the shadows. She looked at Jenna and saw the same fire igniting in her eyes. Gordon thinks he can just wipe us out, Marissa breathed, her voice gaining strength. But we have proof now. If we expose him, this could be bigger than we imagined. Ryan looked skeptical but hopeful. But we'll need more than just this recording. We need to rally everyone, get their support. There's still a fight ahead. As adrenaline spiked within her, Marissa felt ready to rise to the challenge. Then that's what we'll do. We'll spread the word, gather the community together, and fight back. No one can take our home. But just as they began to formulate a plan to mobilize, another noise interrupted their moment. A loud crack, like a branch snapping. All heads turned toward the source, eyes wide with panic. What was that? Jenna hissed, her voice trembling. Marissa felt ice settle in her gut. Their shadows might be gathering, but were the true threats already upon them? The looming danger seemed closer still. They had ignited a fire, but how long could they hold it against the winds that were coming? Without hesitation, she grabbed Luca and Ryan's arms. We've got to go, now. With her heart racing, she sprinted towards the exit of the park, knowing the real fight was not just against Gordon, but whatever lurked in the dark. Would they uncover the truth before it was too late? They raced through the trees, the pressing urgency spurring them on. Marissa could hear her heart echoing in her ears, each beat a reminder of the risk they were taking. The park, once a sanctuary, now felt like a trap. Shadows danced around them, each creaking branch and whispering wind instilling more dread. Luca's grip tightened around Marissa's wrist. "This way," he shouted, veering off the path, feeling the adrenaline buzzing through him. Jenna followed closely, her breath coming in short gasps. "Which direction is safe?" she panted, panic seeping into her words. Marissa swiveled her head, trying to maintain her composure despite the rise of fear in her throat. "Anywhere but here," she yelled back, praying they wouldn't be cornered. Suddenly, they broke through the trees into a small clearing. The moonlight illuminated their surroundings, casting long shadows that made Marissa shiver. They stopped for a moment, catching their breath. "Did you hear anything?" Jenna whispered, scanning the darkness. It felt as if the trees were holding their secrets close, waiting to be breached. Marissa shook her head, holding up her phone to see the screen better. "We shouldn't waste time. We need to get to the community center, get people organized." Ryan nodded, trying to compose himself. "I'll send the recording to everyone on our list. They can't ignore this. But what if Gordon finds us?" "He can try," Marissa said, determination igniting within her. The fire they lit earlier had turned into a blazing resolve. "We aren't backing down now." Just as she finished speaking, a light flashed through the trees in the distance, strong and searching. "There! Someone's looking for us!" Luca shouted, his voice tense. "Hide," Marissa ordered. They dove into the underbrush, hearts thrumming like war drums. A chorus of voices floated toward them, muffled but menacing. "Split up!" "They couldn't have gone far," a voice barked, causing a chill to run down Marissa's spine. It was definitely Gordon's crew. The electricity in the air heightened her senses as they crouched low, peering through the leaves to catch a glimpse. A group of men approached, dressed in dark jackets, their eyes scanning the ground like predators on the hunt. "What do we do?" Jenna whispered fiercely, her voice trembling. "There's a small path west of here," Ryan pointed quietly. "If we can make it to the road, we can get help." "On 3, Marissa was met with solemn nods. 1, 2, 3. They bolted away from the cover of the foliage, darting toward the path Ryan indicated. The brush slashed against their legs as they ran. Each step felt like a leap into the unknown. Suddenly, a voice called out, "There they are!" Marissa's heart sank. Fear coursed through her veins, but so did a fierce resolve. "Run faster! We can't let them catch us!" They dashed into the darkness, uncertainty swirling around them. How could they warn their community now? As they reached the edge of the trees, Marissa could see the distant glow of streetlights illuminating the road ahead, hope igniting within her once more. They could still make it. Then, without warning, a loud crash echoed behind them. The sound reverberated in her chest, followed by the unmistakable shouts of men pursuing them. Panic tightened her throat. They couldn't be caught, not when they had so much at stake. "We need to split up now. Meet at the community center," Marissa called out and broke left. "Marissa, no!" Luca shouted after her, but she was already moving, deciding to draw the attention away. Would this choice seal her fate, or would it buy them the precious seconds they needed? As she sprinted down the unfamiliar street, she dared not look back. But in that moment of desperation, something deep within her ignited, the driving force of someone who would not give up. She would find a way to expose Gordon. But as Marissa turned the corner, did she unknowingly run toward a greater danger? Would she find her friends again? And at what cost? Marissa's lungs burned as she pushed herself harder, her feet pounding against the pavement like a drum. The adrenaline coursed through her veins, a wild rush that blurred the line between fear and exhilaration. The night felt alive around her, every rustle and shadow threatening to swallow her whole, while she focused only on moving forward. When she reached a streetlight, she paused for just a heartbeat, glancing around frantically. Any moment she might see Luca or Jenna darting out from between buildings, ready to regroup. Instead, nothing but silence surrounded her. From behind her, she heard it, a sound like footsteps closing in. The panic that bubbled inside her now threatened to erupt, but she couldn't dwell on it. She took a deep breath and started toward the intersection ahead. If she could reach the center of town, she would blend into the crowd. Fear clenched her gut as she thought of Luca, Ryan, and Jenna. They needed to be safe too. She turned right at the intersection and squinted down the quiet street. The glow from the diner at the end of the block offered a flicker of hope. She pressed on, the thought of warning others urging her forward. If they reached the center and rallied the community, maybe they could confront Gordon together. Rounding another corner, she accidentally brushed against something hard and metallic. It was a trash bin, and the sudden noise echoing through the stillness made her jump. "Focus," she told herself, shaking off dread. She continued down the street, her heart racing. Maybe if she reached the diner, she could convince the owner to call for help. As she approached, she spotted a figure by the entrance. A man in a dark jacket, hands shoved in his pockets, head down. A jolt of recognition stopped her cold. It was one of Gordon's men. Marissa's stomach twisted. She dropped low behind a parked car, heart hammering as he glanced around, then looked back toward the street. With every breath, she eased herself back, praying he hadn't seen her. A plan took shape. If she could just create a distraction, anything to keep his eyes off her, she could slip away. She scanned the area for anything she could use. A few feet ahead, a rolled-up newspaper rested innocently by the sidewalk. It would have to do. She took a deep breath, her heart thudding in her chest, and hurled the paper toward a garbage can across the street. It landed with a soft thud. He turned, momentarily distracted. Marissa seized the opportunity, bolting toward the diner's rear entrance. As she pushed through the door and shut it quietly behind her, a wave of relief washed over her. The diner was dimly lit, a few patrons scattered at the booths. She spotted the owner, a kind old man she knew from school events. His weary eyes widened when he saw her face. "Marissa? What are you doing here at this hour?" His voice was a mixture of concern and confusion. "Mr. Carter, it's urgent. Gordon's men are searching for us. We need to warn everyone. There's something he's planning, something dangerous." Mr. Carter's expression turned serious. "All right, we need to get to the community center, fast. I'll help you. We can get a few people on the phone." Just then, the door creaked open, and Marissa's heart dropped as she saw the shadow of the man she had just evaded. He stepped into the diner, scanning the room. "Stay back," Marissa whispered to Mr. Carter, her voice low and filled with urgency. If he spotted them, their chance would be gone. Time seemed to freeze. Marissa's heart raced and her mind whirled. Could she risk everything on a desperate plan? As Gordon's man moved closer, she thought. About Luca and Jenna. How long did she have until they were caught? What had she done? Would there be a way out for them all? And most importantly, would they be able to stop Gordon before it was too late? Marissa held her breath as the man in the dark jacket drew nearer, scanning the diner with intensity. Panic surged within her, but she clamped down on it, forcing herself to think. She could not let fear consume her, not now. "Mr. Carter," she whispered urgently, "we need a distraction." The diner owner nodded, his jaw set in determination. He stood up straight and casually walked toward the back, allowing Marissa to slip behind the counter, out of sight. She could hear her heart pounding in her ears, echoing her thoughts. Just then, Mr. Carter shouted, "Hey, we've got some trouble outside. Could use some help here?" Marissa's pulse quickened. The man spun around, eyes narrowing on Mr. Carter. Seizing the moment, Marissa slipped behind the counter, holding her breath as she peered out between the gaps. The man's gaze darted toward the door as Mr. Carter's voice rang out again, a purposeful call unrivaled by anything she had heard before. She noticed a couple of customers freeze, glancing between Mr. Carter and the figure standing by the entrance. A sense of unity began to swell in the room. "Get out! We don't want you here!" a woman yelled, courage shining through her fear. In that moment, Marissa felt a new energy radiate through her. They could rally together, a shared purpose igniting within that small diner. The man shifted, clearly uncomfortable at being challenged in front of others, and Marissa noticed the crack in his confident demeanor. Driven by the collective force, she slipped out from behind the counter and raised her voice, finding clarity. "Everyone, listen up. We're not just fighting for ourselves. Gordon's planning to destroy our community, and he knows we're here." The diner erupted in a chorus of shouts, and Marissa felt the solidarity wash over her. "Let's show him we won't be scared away," Mr. Carter shouted, glancing at her with a knowing smile. The man, clearly unsettled, took a step back, confusion spilling over his face as more voices merged into one, rising in energy and conviction. "Leave our town," someone shouted, and the chorus echoed back to her, "Leave our town." The powerful chant advanced like a wave crashing against shore, drowning out hesitance and watering the roots of courage sprung forth. Before the man could react, Marissa took the opportunity to slip past him, pushing the door open into the blustery night. "Let's head to the community center," she shouted, her voice breaking through the crowd's vibration. A flurry of patrons followed her, hearts racing with shared determination. "Marissa," she heard someone call, and turning, she found Luca, panting as he caught up with her, relief washing over him. "I was worried you'd gotten caught." "Not yet," she replied, forcing a smile that masked her lingering fears. Hope surged through her. "But we've got to warn everyone before Gordon can make his next move." They sprinted towards the community center, and as they approached, familiar faces began to assemble outside, each lit by the spark they had all forged together. "What's happening?" someone asked, concern etched across their face. "It's time to fight back," Marissa declared, voice steady. "Gordon's trying to tear our community apart, and we won't let him. We need every voice to join us." The crowd nodded, their faces growing fierce with determination as they made their way inside. As they gathered in a circle, Marissa decided this was their moment, a defining moment to take their stand. "Listen," she shouted, her voice rising above the murmurs. "Let's make a plan. We've got the proof we need against Gordon, and together we'll rally our community to rise up against corruption." Nod after nod, she felt the room electrify with energy. The fear that had once held them back melted away, replaced with the warm burn of purpose. As discussions unfolded, the collective strength felt palpable, and hope was gathering momentum. They broke into smaller groups, strategizing, organizing, and creating pamphlets to spread the word about Gordon's scheming plans. The once empty walls of the community center were soon filled with colorful posters and banners, each radiating resilience and unity. Marissa stepped back, the tears of gratitude, including pride, filling her eyes. She saw Luca, Jenna, Mr. Carter, and neighbors all working together, faces glowing with promise. They were reborn as something magnificent, a collective heartbeat that refused to be silenced. A voice rang out, "We'll show them their strength in our community." Marissa's heart swelled as she stepped forward, knowing they were no longer just individuals floundering against a great adversary, but rather a fierce solidarity, a force led by love for their town. "Tomorrow we confront Gordon," she declared firmly, a smile stretching across her face. "We'll be ready." And just like that, their journey crystallized into one that transcended mere struggle. It was about family, community, and reclaiming the legacy they all cherished. As dawn broke over Maplewood that following day, a new light shone across them, a light that promised hope against all odds. Unity had sparked transformation, and they would carry it forward. Marissa stood tall, feeling the warmth of the people beside her. They had taken the first step. Together, they would finish what they had started. And as they made their way toward confrontation, she couldn't shake the thrilling notion they were finally ready to take back what was theirs. This is your call to action. You need to subscribe now to our channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. It really makes a difference. Comment below your reactions and feelings about the ending. Your voice matters. And don't wait. Not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Help us spread the message of hope and unity.